Good morning. Thank you for joining me this morning. As you can see, I have great plans for a spread in our spring journal. But before we begin, I want to let you know that I was a lucky girl yesterday. My husband needed a particular sort of white paint for his scratch-made model airplane that he's planning on taking to the Nationals in July. And so we went to Ready Arts, which is a major supplier in Jacksonville of art supplies. It was in one location for eons, but I think the land under the store became so valuable that the owner sold, and the land is going to be used probably for an upscale sort of restaurant type thing. And so we found that they had moved to a historic district in the very oldest part of Jacksonville, and the store was just a delight. I found a few things. I didn't go in with a list, but this is what I came out with. Because my world kind of came to a crashing stop when I was having my cancer treatments, some of my pens dried out. So I was able to find white Uniball Signo pens, marking pens, so I got 2 of those, and believe me, they were in a cup, and the cup contained mostly black and a few whites. People do search after whites, so these are treasures. I'm going to put them aside. I also found this, and it's the blue one, which I do like because I like to see where I've been with my glue. I only have one small one that I ordered ages ago, so this is going to be tucked aside and ready to go when necessary. But I found a whole selection of these in the white and the blue, so I treated myself to a blue. Tuck away. And look what I found. I have been using this size, which I like very much, and I have a good deal of it left. But I couldn't resist because there were only a few of these there. So I grabbed this for my tuck away, and I just learned about these from Rachel at Roxy Creations, a stapleless stapler, and I watched her use them, and they worked a treat. So I ordered these on eBay, and this is Harinacs, 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 stapleless stapler. They had many colors, many possibilities. The price variation was incredible, so we picked this one because it was less expensive, and the shipping was very reasonable, and it came in 2 or 3 days. So let's see. I think I'm going to have to stand up because the strength in my hands are not what it used to be. So stapleless stapler, and down and out. And as you can see, the little grooves, let me get close so that you can see this. Okay. And this is the back. And 4 sheets of paper stapled together. And I think these are going to be just the cat's whiskers. Rachel is absolutely in love with hers, And I think that same thing could happen to me. So, another contraption. Well, let's get back to today's work. Although I shouldn't call it work, it's pure joy. I've decided that I took a few minutes before I turned on the camera to get some things out. I didn't want to have to be jumping up and down all the time and leaving you, which is just not a nice thing to do if I can help it. So I've decided I'm going to use this coffee dyed sheet, which I love, with the lace design. No, I did not make that. It is so not my thing. So out of the way this goes. And here we are with yesterday's leftovers, and here we have some collage bits of mine. And we're going to be off. As you can see what this is, a piece of file folder that I cut out. So this is a original stencil. I got out some more collage papers. I wanted white because of the background color here. I didn't want any buffs or tans or beiges or whatever. Let's begin. We'll decide whether or not we want to put something on around the edge, distress the edge of this paper later on. Right now, let's see what we can do with this paper. I wanted to use a white background collage bit. So here's possibly one. Possibly two. One of these. I found these in a book in a antique mall, and I just love them because of the shape. They're kind of different. Shall I use one more down here? Maybe. We'll see. Now I must have an odd number, so let's look. This is a piece of paper with the lace stenciling that using spray ink. That is similar to the design here, but in this color, which is quite perfect for this, I think. Maybe just a little bit. Oh, I don't like that. Let's get that out of there. And maybe one more. Maybe one more here. Well, that gives us a start. That gives us a start, because we're going to be doing many layers on this project. At least that's what I have in my mind. So let's get these down quickly so we can get to the other stuff. I hope that you are having a good day and that you are well. And just, is it parallel? A little bit more that way. This is just catch can, actually. Don't want to have too much because of the plan. I'm a girl with a plan, and sometimes it works and sometimes it sure doesn't. But using that grid under my waxed paper, let's take off some of this. Let's get some of this off. Is that better? Yes, I think so. This was a fascinating book. I couldn't resist it. Pages upon pages of architectural pretties, and I don't know what they're there for because of the nature of the paper and so forth, but boy, did it call Carol's name when I saw it. Okay, let's go over here now. I don't like these two lined up like they're in the army. Let's not do that. Let's do this instead. Okay, this goes on that one. This has been a very lovely week in Jacksonville, but boy, oh boy, let me tell you, the mornings have been in the low 60s, high 50s, 58, 59, which is crazy for this time of year in Florida. Absolutely bonkers. But the days are dry and the wet heat will come. The days get up to maybe 82 or so. Not at all what is expected. Come on. And this one was pointing right there. Oh, can't wait to go back to have another visit at Ready Arts because I don't think I saw a quarter of the store. We had other things to do, so this store is what you would typically think of as a store, just a big box, but art supplies to die for. And the other one was in, as I said, an old neighborhood, and the rooms. It was rooms. It went on and on. There was a whole room for framing. There was a room for art students' portfolios and so forth. It's totally different. But I imagine the land was worth so much money. A start. A start has been made. It's official. Now, let's have a little rain gray. And here. And here. I think I'm going to set that aside for a moment. Just a smidge. And you're thinking to yourself, Carol, what has this got to do with spring? Well, in my head, this should work. I'm going to put this right over the fold. Don't want perfection in any way. Let's have this one off the paper. And over the collage. I don't know why I ever thought I needed to do this, but I must have thought that I needed to have diamond shapes, small ones, for some project. I love to put things over the edge. Besides putting myself over the edge, as my husband, I'm sure, would agree. Now, that might be enough. We might need more later, I don't know, so I'll leave this here. Now we're going to let this dry, and we're going to choose some other pieces of collage. Let's see what we have that might do the trick. Oh my, recognize? Ha! That's older than I thought it was. Too dark. Maybe. Oh yes, I remember tearing that when I showed you this the last time. Nope. No and no. maybe we can make this do. Remember, thumbs together makes the tearing. That looks like scallops. I like these colors because they bring out the edging we've used in the rest of the journal. No. And no. No and no. Maybe. No. No, no, no. No. I do wonder what that came off of. A mystery. Definite mystery. Okay, finished. I have much more here than I plan to use. Okay, off to the side we go. Little drink of water. Well, well. Straight edge. Oh, woe betide. Woe betide. Two. 3. You don't see these at the same time because they're folded. So I think I'll stop right there and leave room for my next part, for the next part of my plan. Here we go. I do hope that you have discovered the joys of this freeform collaging. These bits are strictly for undergirding. These pieces have been in my stash for ages, and I am so happy that I kept them, having no idea what I was going to do with them, but I sure do now because they call me. No, it has to be this way because the green is that way. Here. Oops. This is magazine paper with stenciling using acrylic paints. Many of the acrylic paints I still have in front of my window here. The gray paints that I used on this stencil as part of my hoard of Ceramcoat. I'm a great lover of Ceramcoat because it is it's not shiny. Does this one need to be up here and this one down here? I'm not sure. This. Or that. Not that. Okay, I love it when a plan comes together. Aha. Now, you go up here. This little blue works here, this little bit of aqua. Next, last but certainly not least, now we have the underpinning here. Yes, I'm sorry, I got kind of quiet then, but I want to have a flower here. Let's see where we are. Okay. I'm pressing with the pencil because some of this, of course, is going to be covered up. And let's have another one over here. Another big one. These are not the shape petals that I usually do, but there's no time like the present. Oh, so that's going to get covered up. We can do that. And now we're going to get to do a little filling in painting, just ordinary filling in what's there, and then we'll decide what else we're going to have, if anything. Oh, I knew I forgot something. I forgot white. I can't do this without some white, and not dead white. And my go-to palette knife. This is Magnolia White. These got through the drought in my studio very nicely. I guess I didn't do as good a planning job as I thought I would, so I'm just going to take some of my drinking water, take a sip, and in it goes. Brushes. To use this 1/2" angle shader from Princeton. And let's see if this gets better when it's mixed with white. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. A little bit of the pink, a little bit of the white pink, and we'll just get going. We'll just get going. When the paint gets thicker and this thins out a bit, it will cover, and if it doesn't, that's okay. That's like people get all upset when they see pencil marks on watercolor. No, nothing to be upset about. Off the paper. Off the paper again. A little bit more white. All right, I'm not going to put you through watching all of this. I will come back when we've made some headway. This needs a little bit of another go of paint to cover up that bit that's underneath. This one needs it too because those green leaves are heavy color-wise. So let's just, there, that's better. here. And here. There we go. I'll be back. Good morning again. I'm back today to finish up. I had a very busy day yesterday, and it was impossible to get back to this, so it was a good opportunity for this pilot G2 pen for the gel to dry. I left 2 petals. You'll notice that I have not outlined these petals first and then added the doodling. Some looked like I did because the doodle went around that far, but in most cases you can see it does not. It's a preference, a personal preference of mine. I don't want these to look like a coloring book. So I used some gold marker, some green marker, a little bit of the very fine Signal Uniball, just to add some circles for the center. I don't want them to jump out and pop because they're rather large. So I just want to take this opportunity to finish up now. And let's just get this one to go around here, and we can always fix up when we run to a little oopsie. And let's come back around here to enliven the shape a little bit. I want this to look as though this petal is under this piece of collage. There we go. Getting the rhythm. And the last one is here. I had to work in bits so that I was careful that I was not putting my my hand down on the wet ones. This is just practice and relaxing. I have a very light grip on this pen. You could pull it out of my hand with only the slightest effort. I'm letting my fingertips do the pushing and the mark locations, and when they run off, they just look more natural. So you can see that we have some spots here and there. I checked to make sure that this was not me putting my big hand down on it, and I looked with the magnifier, and it isn't. It's this piece of collage showing through, saved. And here we have a little pull of the pen, and because sometimes the pen does have a mind of its own, but that makes this, as far as I'm concerned, for my personal idea, that makes this look more more natural. Let's see if there's anything else that we want to do here. And if you notice, there is a slight shininess to those two that we just did, and that's what we let dry completely. And I'm thinking that it's time to stop. I'm wondering if I want something around these bits of stencil. If I do, it would be very, very light. It would be my this is my ultra micron. Let's see, this is my ultra fine. I'm going to be very careful where I put these fingers. Just lightly adding the slightest bit. As you can see, I'm not at all trying to outline. Some of them don't close. That's okay. Up here. And now the big question, and I'm leaving the leaves that way because I want them to stand back. My only question here is whether I want to use this very fine to make a hint, only a hint, of around the center of these flowers. They look like hair. They're so fine, and I just love that sometimes. Did it make much difference? No, but I'm happy with it. Now let's check to make sure which ones are dry. These are dry. But they are making a mark because these uniball signos work over everything. Let's see if you can see that little tiny bit of marking there. Right here and here. Okay, here. Now, the big question is, will we or won't we? But before we do that, I'm thinking I'm not happy with the points. I want this softer. So, I'm going to get out my handy dandy corner rounder. And being careful here too, because I think I would like this to be rounded also. And here, didn't want to go under. Here it is. Oh, yes. And now, the person who doesn't like distressing is at it again. We are so allowed to change our minds when we are working. When we are working with our art. Because the goal here is to make us happy. Just the tiniest amount. Careful of where I put my big thumb. Here. That, I believe, is that. I'm quite tickled. It was fun. It was fun doing some my good friend. I have used this for so many years because I think we understand each other. Back it goes. Let's move this. And take out this so that you will get a better view. Alrighty, I tried using a heat dryer and I didn't like what was happening to the paper, so I stopped and let nature take its course. If you have enjoyed joining me, please give me a thumbs up, leave a comment, and I would appreciate your subscribing to my channel. Let's have a close-up now so that you can see what. See, this is the very fine Uniball. This is the 207. This is a kind of a medium. And the flowers, if you can see, that should look a little bit of gold on there. That's let me show you what I use. What I used there, I'm not exactly in love, but oh yes, I know what I remember now. I use this. This is a Sharpie and it's a water-based. And that's what yielded that bit of gold. It's very mild gold, I guess because it's water-based. Bye now.